Hello, I'm Claire and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be my fragrance empties. To most people, this is trash. To YouTube, this is content. So we're just going to talk through my empties, which ones I would consider repurchasing, which ones I have repurchased, and really which ones I would like to leave in my perfume past. So if you haven't seen me before, I'm Claire. I make content all about perfume. I talk about perfume science, perfume history, perfume psychology, and I also just do some straight reviews and also fun perfume tags. So if that kind of thing interests you and you haven't already done so, then please do consider subscribing. And if you like this kind of content, then please press the like button. So let's get on with this. What's the first empty? So the first fragrance is really two fragrances because it's got different fragrances in each side. So this is rollerball and it's from Kayali. These have Utopia Vanilla Coco and also Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper in each side. And I had this for years. I just do not like these kind of rollerball format fragrances. Just kind of forget about them in my collection. And when I do use them, they don't project very well. They sit very close to skin. I much prefer a spray fragrance format. But the way I found to use these was by using them on my legs in the summer, and I would mix it in with my moisturiser. And using them that way gave me a really nice scent bubble. I do really like both of these fragrances in the spray format, and I have to say they do smell slightly different. They smell more energetic somehow in spray format. I guess they've got more of a lightness to them, and they are maybe not as base heavy perhaps as they might be in the oils. I think there's also more progression, isn't there, with spray fragrances in general. I think with oils they tend to be quite linear. I think I would consider repurchasing both of these in future, but in a spray format and in quite a small volume. But I do really like the creamy white florals in Utopia Vanilla Coco, and I do really like the energy and the vibe of the Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper with the beautiful rose. It's just such a happy feeling fragrance. So yeah, I like these, but I definitely wouldn't buy this rollerball format. So that's Kayali, Utopia Vanilla Coco and Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper. So the next fragrance is one from Dior, and this is Loverdose Tattoo. So at one point in my fragrance owning life, I had all three of the Loverdose fragrances. So the purple one, the original, and that was my signature fragrance way back when. And then I also used to own Red Kiss as well, which I finished the bottle of. I think with Loverdose, I just kind of got a bit fed up with it, and it wasn't something I was wearing very often. Whereas this one, I was still wearing it. I was wearing it to bed. I found this one very comforting because it just is quite a custardy feeling vanilla. Really in the opening, it smells like a milky custardy vanilla, but with some sweetness from a kind of blackcurrant syrup running through it, but it's quite subtle. And then as this dries down, you lose the milkiness a little bit and it turns more vanillic. It's really just a vanilla really in the dry down with a slight spice and a little bit of warmth to it. This one, I think it's very much of its time. It's long discontinued. I'm not going to find another bottle of it even if I wanted one, but I don't think I would want one now. I feel like this is past Claire rather than current Claire. But it did last well and I did enjoy it while I owned it, and it definitely is a throwback, this fragrance. It does make me think of other times. That's Loverdose Tattoo. So the next two fragrances are two that I was gifted by Jardin, and these are only 5ml bottles and I finished up both of these. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Venus of Verbena, and Venus of Verbena, I think I had in my head an idea of what this fragrance was going to be like based on my experience of L'Occitane Verveine. And this is so far away from L'Occitane Verveine. So the thing in this fragrance that really matters to me is the texture. This has a really oily texture to me, and it really gives it a very different feel to Verveine, which is very fresh. Of course, this probably has better longevity than something like Verveine, but it just isn't what I'm expecting from a fragrance called Venus of Verbena. So this to me has a texture that reflects both its content of Litsea Cubiba, which if you haven't tried it, gives things an almost oily lemon zest kind of feel. You know, like the outer waxy coat of a lemon, or even lemons in oil, like a preserved lemon in oil. And I think that's contributed to as well by the texture of this. It's something in between the texture of mimosa, so something more powdery, and something like Broom or Immortelle, something more oily feeling. So I think the texture here was key for me and just something that I didn't particularly enjoy. There were points in wearing this where I actually thought, this is okay, But then, I don't know, there's something a little bit cloying about this. I definitely wouldn't choose to purchase this. But I can see if you're a massive fan of Lizzie Kabiba, then you would love this fragrance, because that's really the main thing about this fragrance for me. So that's Venus of Verbena. So the second fragrance from Saint Jardin, I remember when I reviewed it originally, when I first was trying it, I think I put this mid-table or even lower table of all Saint Jardin's fragrances. And I really regret that now. I would really probably put it sort of mid to upper of their range. I think this one's really good. So this one is called Révolution de la Fleur, and this is totally me. It's a tropical floral fragrance, white and yellow florals, and just really creamy. It's a very creamy, almost bright solar feeling fragrance, and it's also got a sweetness. It's a very intensely honeyed feeling fragrance. It just feels lush and rich and warm and bright. I loved wearing this one during the summer and really consider purchasing a bottle of this. I thought it was beautiful. But I do already have a lot of solar feeling, tropical feeling fragrances in my collection. So I feel like I will use those before I purchase anything else. But just a stunning fragrance, loved it. So that's Révolution de la Fleur. Next up is a fragrance from the Body Shop. So the Body Shop has kind of gone through some changes recently, and it's just somewhere I never go into anymore. I've just been disappointed by how much their prices have increased and really how they've changed a lot of their fragrances, I guess, to make them vegan. And that's to be applauded, but also they're just not as I remembered them. And, you know, when that nostalgia's gone, that's when you move on, isn't it? So this one is actually one of their vintage fragrances. I think this came out in 2018. So this is called Nigritella. So Nigritella is a tropical, exotic, floral, rich, heady, kind of sweet fragrance, but it's really heavy on vanilla. Vanilla is the biggest note here. And really, this fragrance, I think, was widely compared to things like Hypnotic Poison by Dior. I don't really get the comparison. It's not a spot-on dupe, it's not a one-to-one copy, but I get that it's inspired by perhaps that fragrance. To me, I really like this, but I found the longevity of this a little bit lacking. And I also feel like towards the end of this bottle, it was sort of degrading slightly. It wasn't in the best condition. And I was glad to finish this one. I ended up wearing it to bed quite a lot. I quite often wear vanilla fragrances to bed. And I found that was actually a really nice way to use it. It felt really comforting. It wasn't too loud. And yeah, I enjoyed it. But obviously I can't repurchase because it's long discontinued. I think this fragrance at the time when this was on the market, it was a steal. I think it was something like £18. I'm sure if you went into Body Shop now, they'd be nearer £40 or £50. I think the prices have gone up that much in only, 7 years? It's ridiculous. So that's Nigritella by Body Shop. Next up, I finished a bottle of what I consider to be one of the best examples of suede in any designer fragrance that I've smelt. It's so good. And I'm so sad this is finished, but it's Bottega Veneta's Bottega Veneta. So sadly, this is long discontinued, and I actually bought this tester bottle just because I was so desperate to try this one because I heard everybody talking about it after it had been discontinued. And this was only a partial bottle. I think there was only about, I don't know, something like that much left, sort of to the top of my fingernail. And I bought this along with another bottle that had slightly more in. And I'm so pleased I've got that second bottle because I love this fragrance. So this is really the most beautiful suede, and I think the thing that really keeps me coming back to this is that I sense a little bit of violet in this as well. It's widely compared to Rihanna's Rogue, I think, which is also sadly discontinued, but I've never tried Rogue. But I think for me, I get reminded of fragrances like Gris Dior. I guess they're both cheaper fragrances, and that's maybe why I think of that fragrance when I smell Bottega Veneta. But to me, the suede that's in Bottega Veneta is almost slightly leathery in Gris Dior, even though I don't think there's even like suede or leather listed in Gris Dior. But I definitely do get something along those lines in Gris Dior. I just love this one. It had great longevity, and I really am so pleased I've got that other bottle because I wouldn't be able to repurchase this. It's like gold dust. I never see these come up secondhand, and I think that really tells you something about a fragrance when you don't see it secondhand. It's that it was loved, it's that it's been used, and sadly I think it's long gone. So that's Bottega Veneta by Bottega Veneta. So this next fragrance I actually got in a raffle, and I didn't even win the raffle. So somebody else I know won the raffle. It was to raise money for Ukraine when the war started. And we all, bought tickets, and I didn't win. This other person won, and he offered me the fragrance that he won because it couldn't be shipped to where he lives. And I was so grateful for that, and I was really over the moon to get this fragrance. It's really my first experience of an indie fragrance made in the UK, and I love this one just for that reason. But this was also just such a good fragrance. So this is called Cadrene, and it's from the brand Oriyii. So Oriyii, I've tried to look on their website. I can't even find their website anymore. I don't know whether the brand has closed down or what's happened, but I've tried another fragrance from Nikem, the person who makes these fragrances, and it was excellent. And I just feel like perhaps they weren't the best at marketing their fragrances if they have closed down, or maybe they'll come back. But if you do see an Oriyii fragrance, I would wholeheartedly recommend trying them. Obviously, I was looking on the website because I wanted to repurchase this and I just couldn't find it. But, maybe it's good to move on. Maybe I'll discover something, even better, or something, different. Maybe, constantly rebuying the same fragrances is not a good idea, is it, as a fragrance reviewer? But I love this. So this is a really unusual combination of spearmint, ginger, and also cardamom. And that gives it a nice freshness and energy, but it's also quite easygoing. I found this one to be very wearable. It's something that was very all season, all situation. It did make me think weirdly of the British seaside, even though it's not marine. It makes me think of almost fun fairs, a sweet rock at British seasides. I think this definitely has a sweetness to it. It's almost toffee-like actually in the dry down, but still with that freshness. Not cloying at all. A really lovely fragrance, and I love it. So that's Cadrene by Oriyii. So the next fragrance is actually a celebrity fragrance, and I think this is widely regarded as one of the best celebrity fragrances ever. And I'm sad to have finished my bottle, but also glad to have enjoyed every single drop of it. So this one is Madonna's Truth or Dare. And people talk about this like tuberose is the only thing it's got going on, but really this has got gardenia and also a lot of lily. The lily is very distinct in this fragrance, and just it's the most pure, creamy, white floral fragrance with a kind of almost fizziness to it. It's got almost something that makes me think of sherbet or something like that. There's definitely a fizziness to the florals in this fragrance. It also has a really nice creamy vanilla, but that's secondary to the florals. So it's really an overtly white floral fragrance. I think this one widely got compared to Fracas by Piguet, and I think that's actually really what this fragrance was supposed to be based on. I don't think I would repurchase it. I think I would maybe move on to something more classic, like perhaps Fracas. I have tried Fracas, and it's a beautiful fragrance. I would love to own a bottle of that one. But I think, this also was a gorgeous fragrance, and obviously at a much better price point. I think when I bought this, it was under £15 for sure. So, a bargain basically, and really a great deal for such a high quality fragrance. But I can't repurchase it because it's long discontinued. I do still see these come up on eBay. They go for a lot of money. I've always wanted to try Truth or Dare Naked, and I've never managed to find a bottle, but I feel like that boat sailed now. So, there's no point me trying it if I can't buy it, is there? So this is Truth or Dare by Madonna. So my last fragrance empty is one from Floral Street, and this one's called Ylang Espresso. So this fragrance I have had for a few years, and I only had this 10ml bottle, and I sort of hoarded it because I loved it so much, which is ridiculous. I only just finished this one a couple of weeks ago, and I took it to a conference with me in Paris, and somebody smelled this on me and they said, "Oh, that's really unusual. What is that? I really want to try it." So it clearly is something that people find intriguing and different. I guess people haven't smelt something coffee based maybe. I think coffee is quite unusual in fragrances. Even things like black opium, the coffee is quite backseat, isn't it, after a while? That's not really what you get left with in the dry down. Whereas I think with this one, it's more overtly coffee. So this is coffee, but combined with a booziness to me, and also a slightly leathery feel along with the florals, and also something a little bit ashy almost, something a little bit cigarette-like. And this is a kind of a good time fragrance. This smells like a good night out, all of the elements of a good night out. I really like this one, and actually I liked it enough to repurchase this. I've now bought a 50ml bottle of it. So, you know, I'm really intrigued to see how I get along with this, because I noticed that this one, the liquid in this bottle was really dark and brown, and the liquid in my new bottle is clear. And that's usually a warning sign that they've reformulated the fragrance. So I'm really hoping that's not the case, but I am a little bit worried. Obviously, fragrances change colour over time and things do darken, but I just cannot believe the colour difference between that fragrance and this fragrance. So let's hope they're the same. So that's Floral Street's Ylang Espresso, and that's my final fragrance empty. Please do let me know which fragrances in your own collection you would immediately repurchase, which ones you can't repurchase but you wish you could repurchase, and the fragrances that you've been finishing off recently. Also, if you have enjoyed the video, then please do press the like button, and please also consider subscribing if you haven't done already. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.